Now, I reckon there are going to be two issues that are really going to be huge challenges for you. First off, Labor's plan to change the Constitution, create a kind of advisory parliament just for Aborigines, which you will call the Voice. Now, even Malcolm Turnbull was against this racial divide. Why did you yesterday suggest that you were open to the idea? You said, you know, we'll have a look at what they're proposing.
Well, Andrew, Linda Burney, who's the new minister, has said that they're working on a proposal. They haven't finalised what the proposal is, and all I've said is that I won't rule it out until we've had a look at it. And we've got a shadow cabinet process to go through, a party room process to go through, and I made what I thought was the most important point in response to the question yesterday, and that is that I understand the importance of symbolism to many people within the Indigenous community, but what's most important to me is the practical actions, the way in which we can reduce the incidence of sexual violence within Indigenous communities. It breaks my heart to know that young kids tonight in Aboriginal communities in some parts of the country will be locking themselves in shipping containers to get through the hours of darkness. That is unforgivable in the year 2022. So I've always been a more practical person. I think I demonstrated that as the Home Affairs Minister in cancelling visas of sexual offenders, people that have committed crimes against women and children and serious offences otherwise. I want to see how we can improve people's lives across society.
Of course we want to help the kids. Of course we want to help the kids, but you also do the symbolic thing. The thing is, the symbolism here is exactly the wrong symbolism of racial divide. Listen, the Labor says it wants this advisory parliament to give Aborigines a voice. This new parliament has 10 politicians who identify as Aboriginal. That's 4.4% of MPs, when only 3.7% of our population are Aboriginal. Aborigines clearly have a political voice, don't they? Already.
Well, absolutely they do. I was talking to JACINTA Price today, fantastic contribution that she's made to public debate over many years and will be a great asset to the coalition. I just can't wait for her to start in the Senate, and I think she speaks a lot of common sense, and a lot of Australians believe in her and what she says, and I think she'll be a huge contributor. So why
would we need another institution called The Voice when there is a voice?
Well, the point I made yesterday, Andrew, was that we'll see what the government's proposing, and then we'll make an announcement on whether we support or oppose it. And we'll support policy that we believe is in the country's best interests, and we'll oppose policies put by Labor that we don't believe is in our best interests. And I don't think it's fair to rule anything in or out until we know exactly what the government's got on the table. Maybe there's a severely modified form of what they're proposing. Maybe it's in a form that we will not accept. And I think that's the most reasonable way of approaching it.
No, really, I think it's a fundamental principle. You either believe in Australians like we're all together regardless of race, or you start tinkering about just how racist you want a separate voice to be when we already have more Aborigines per head of population in the parliament than you would expect given the numbers outside. I mean, it's just, I think it's fundamental. You don't compromise. That's just me, though, and I'm not a politician.